Come all of you, come all of us, and bless the one who blesses. Come all of you, come all of us, and bless the one who blesses.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Ya la 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 la, 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 yala lai lai la, yala lai lai lai. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Yala lai lai lai, 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 yala lai lai lai.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים שבת אחים גם יחד. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. Shalom aleichem, salam aleikum.
הטוב ומנעים שברחים גם יחד. הנה הטוב ומנעים שברחים גם יחד. הנה הטוב, הנה הטוב ומנעים שברחים גם יחד. הנה הטוב ומנעים שברחים גם יחד. How good it is,
How good it is,
how sweet it
how
is
sweet it is
to be together on this day. How good it is,
how good it is,
how sweet it
how
is
sweet it is
to be together on this day. Hine matov, u'manayim sheberachim gam yachad. Hine matov, u'manayim sheberachim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We are so glad you are here with us to celebrate Shabbat and also to celebrate the holiday of Shavuot, the holiday of the receiving of Torah, of our 10 Commandments. I am Rabbi Ilana Nematoff-Bressler. I am joined by Rabbi Zach Pleasant, Rabbi Michael Friedman, and Cantor Julia Cadrain, and we are so lucky to have 4 wonderful 10th graders with us. We have Jonathan Costello, Matthew Stashauer, Aiden Goldenberg, and Theo Friedman. And these young men have been studying all year, but really their whole lives, and they've been challenging and questioning and learning. And they've been looking at Jewish tradition and Jewish text and Jewish thought. And they've been involved in something that we in the Reform movement called confirmation. And I'm wondering, have any of you out there been confirmed? Wow. Raise your hand if you were confirmed here at Temple Israel. Nice.
all right, John. Yeah.
So we hope to see more hands in the coming years. And that was a lot of hands. That was impressive. So we are glad you are here, and we are glad that these young men have chosen to commit to continuing to learn about Judaism past their B'nai Mitzvah, and that we know for them that today is a culmination of many years, but it's not the end. This is just another stopping point on your journey of Jewish learning and Jewish engagement. Shavuot is a holiday, like I said, where we celebrate that we receive Torah. And part of Torah, we are told that all of us receive Torah, no matter who we are, no matter where we are. And that means, hopefully, we know the people that we're receiving Torah with. So I'm going to invite you to turn to someone behind you or in front of you and introduce yourself. Say Shabbat Shalom. Folks, as you greet one another, we also know that whether this is your first time or your 100th time here at Temple Israel, you have always belonged here. And so we're going to invite Aiden, Johnny, Matt, and Theo to come light our Shabbat and holiday candles because you too belong. Page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. One of the ways that we step into the peace of Shabbat and let go of the week is by making some sound together, by joining our voices together It's an invitation to all of us to participate in the singing if we know the words or if we don't, or we like to sing or we don't, no matter how many times you've been here or haven't been here. We can create instant community when we join our voices in song. So in that spirit, we'll turn to page 142. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharim, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Boachem leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Kadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni leShalom, Baruchuni leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni leShalom, Baruchuni Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Just as we welcome the peace of Shabbat into this space and the joy of Shabbat into this space, we welcome the love that we feel for one another and for the many traditions that we hold sacred by welcoming in the Shabbat beloved. We'll sing the verses of Lecha Dodi 1, 2, 5, and then we'll rise and face the entrance of our sanctuary to welcome the Shabbat beloved with the 9th verse. Page 138.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala v'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala v'nei Shabbat nekavela.
Shamor v'zamor v'nivor השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, בשם ולתפארת ולתהילה.
לך דודי לקראת קלה ונשמה לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה ונשמה לקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי הנה כל הברכה, מראש מקדם לסוכה, סוף מעשה ומחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה ונשמה לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה ונשמה לקבלה.
Verse 5.
התעוררי, התעוררי, כי Adonai, עלייך נגלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה,
בשבת
נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה,
בשבת בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי, נקראת כלה, בשבת נקבלה. לך דודי, נקראת כלה, בשבת נקבלה.
The call and response of Baruch Hu on page 146 is an invitation to re-enter a conversation. Maybe it's been a while since you last talked with God. Maybe it was here. Maybe it was outdoors last time you did it. Maybe it was just this morning. Whenever it was, the conversation never ends. We just put a comma and we wait to continue. Page 146.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
Please be seated. This holiday of Shavuot is our season of receiving and confirming our love for Torah. And so I'll invite you to join with me on page 150, these words thanking God for God's love as expressed through the words of Torah, this sustaining and inspiring gift that we treasure. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai, our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai echad. ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
On page 158, Michamocha, our prayer of freedom. I've always loved the intentionality with which the rabbis created the order of the service when prayer became the way that we did Judaism, because Hashkivenu, our prayer for shelter and protection, is not really relevant if you are captive and enslaved. But once we have freedom, once we've celebrated Michamocha, once we've sung Michamocha and celebrated our freedom, part of the vulnerability of being free is that we are in need of that shelter, of that protection. We'll turn to the words on your daf tefillah.
Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it will all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, one day, one day. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom V'hamidenu Shomrei. we rise in body or spirit and turn to page 164.
I give it to the guys.
Adonai, Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor, Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Lekonei Hakol, Mezocher Chasdei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Hakol, Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Atah, Mechachel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Mishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit Umechayeh, Umatzliach Yeshua, Be'eman Atah Lachayot HaKol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. On a night when we celebrate the receiving of Torah and these wonderful confirmands here on our bima with us, we also know that there are those in our lives, in our families, in our community who are in need of healing. So at this time, if there is someone you are thinking of who's in need of healing of mind or body or spirit, and you would like to say their name out loud and bring that name into this community so we can all hold and support them together, please do so at this time. If you're joining us via live stream, you can say that name out loud and we will feel it as well, or type it into the chat as you are able. Any names for Misha Berach? We add those names that have been made known to us for Misha Berach: Gerald Backman, Gabby Buckman, Mary Wheeler Braun, John Burns, Alex Carr, Al Delardi, Frida Easton, Steve Elliott, Beth Field, Sue Flom, Fred Friedman, Louise Friedman, Maurice Friedman, Jackie Fuchs, Roy Fuchs, Lanny Gans, Sandra Halperin, Jeff Helfand, Richard Lieberfarb, Sheldon Manspieser, Harriet Kopelman-Mincheski, Robbie Regano, Nancy Selikoff, Marcia Silber, Stan Stern, Jill Stewart, Nancy Vega, Moshe Yaakov Ben Yocheved. For those names that we've said out loud and those we hold in our hearts, this prayer is for them all. Page 371.
Avotenu Mekol as the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishemerach imotenu mikol habracha lamotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. We continue with our own personal reflection and prayer using the words of our hearts or the words of our books. Traditionally, on this holiday of Shavuot, we read from the book of Ruth. Ruth serves as a beautiful example of loyalty and unconditional love towards Judaism, towards Jewish people and Jewish life. And at a time when we celebrate receiving the Torah, she inspires us. Ki el asher tachik elech. Wherever you go, you know I'll follow. Uvasher talini ali. Wherever your journey takes you, I'll stay with you. Don't ask me now to leave you, to go back to my home. My past will always stay with me, but this new place is my own. Amech avi, ve'lohayich Elohai. Your people are my people, and your God, my God. Ki el asher tachik elech. Wherever you go, you know that's where I too will be buried. Elohayich Elohai, ki el asher tachi elech. Wherever you go, you know follow. Uvasher talili ali. Wherever your journey takes you, I'll stay with you. Wherever your journey takes you, I'll stay with you.
Naomi, a Jew, had 2 sons who married non-Jews, Ruth and Orpah. The 2 sons and Naomi's husband all died. Naomi then told the daughters-in-law that they should go home because she's not going to be able to provide another husband for them. Orpah agreed to go back, but Ruth insisted on staying. Ruth pledged to Naomi that she would stick with her no matter what, and that she would worship her God. By this promise, Ruth pledged herself to Judaism and became the first person to ever choose to be Jewish. By getting confirmed tonight, I too am choosing Judaism. Obviously, I'm not the first, but I'm choosing to learn more about my religion. In the story, Ruth also chooses to follow the Jewish tradition that Naomi had set forth before her. I am also doing that tonight because my father was confirmed here in 1976, and and my grandparents have been congregants here since 1970. So by getting confirmed on this bima, I am following the tradition set forth by my family, just as Ruth did regarding Naomi, who she thought as her family. I wanted to get confirmed so I would know about the history of my religion and figure out what Judaism would look like for me and how I would continue to practice Judaism in the future. I want to continue the tradition given to me by my parents and grandparents and make sure that my kids one day are Jewish. And getting confirmed has really instilled that belief in me to make sure my family and myself continue Jewish tradition. Thank you.
Ruth was not born into the Jewish community, but chose to follow the path of Naomi, Abraham, Moses, Sarah, and Aaron. She became a convert to Judaism and had a significant impact because Ruth is also the progenitor of King David. Not all of us can follow the path of Ruth's impact, but all of us can help make the Jewish world better, regardless whether we were born Jewish or became Jewish. Each of us can find our place in Judaism. From working as a madrik on Sunday mornings, participating in youth trips in the South and Washington, D.C., and being an active contrarian towards Rabbi Pleasant and Rabbi NB, my place in Jewish life has been cemented. Temple Israel is the place where I've met my best friends, where I can be the person I am most proud of. I get to express myself authentically. Ruth, too, had the opportunity to choose to join a community. Like I chose to join Temple Israel and feel accepted for who she was. And she became the forebearer of King David, a prominent figure in Judaism. Ruth committed herself to her community when she became Jewish. As I get confirmed today, I promise that I will continue to engage in Judaism as long as I am alive. My hope is that each of us, no matter what part of our Jewish journey we are in, continues to commit and engage in Jewish life.
We rise in body or spirit. Eitz chaim hilam ha'chazikim ba'vetom lecha meushar. Eitz chaim hilam ha'chazikim ba'vetom lecha meushar. Shalom, 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 shalom. Shalom, shalom, shalom. of life to those who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. And it's a tree of life to those who hold fast to it, and all of its supporters are happy. Shalom, 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 shalom.
In addition to the book of Ruth, Shabbat is centered around appreciation for the Torah. The Shabbat prayers refer to Shabbat as Zaman Matan Toratenu, or the time of the giving of our Torah. Shabbat is so intrinsically connected to the Torah that we spend a full 49-day period between Passover and Shavuot, called the Omer, counting up the days to Shavuot as a mark of our anticipation for celebrating something so central to our religion. In recognition of the Torah's importance to Shavuot, and therefore to confirmation, our class has spent the last 6 months studying the Torah's pièce de résistance, the Ten Commandments, which are traditionally read at Shavuot services. The Ten Commandments' importance to Judaism is evident. They are a cornerstone of Jewish values, supposedly prescribing the most important tenets of our religion. So what is at the center of Judaism? According to the Ten Commandments, there is a clear answer. The first 7 verses, or 11 in Deuteronomy, are all about God. Have no other gods, make no images of gods, don't use God's name in vain. Some rabbis even interpret the introduction, I am God, as its own commandment. As it's written, this compendium of most important Jewish values, speaking to the core of our religion, is first and foremost a proclamation of love and respect for our God. Our Torah, primarily a hagiographic detailing of our people's relationship with that God. This interpretation of Judaism doesn't completely resonate with me. One of our exercises when studying the Ten Commandments was a redesign of their order, making a sort of tier list based on our own perceptions of each commandment's importance. My list differed starkly from the existing order, with the first few commandments pushed to the back in deference to things like don't murder. The most important Jewish values to me are the moral lessons and reasonings that are obviously important in our religion, though not as fundamental to Judaism as ones relating to God. That's not necessarily to say that I don't believe in God, only that I don't see faith in God as relevant in how I conduct my life. I'll try to be the best person I can be with or without God, and I don't really see personal value in devoting myself to God. The value Judaism holds for me is what I confirmed during this service, as our rabbis made it clear that confirmation wasn't just about learning Jewish teachings. We're supposed to confirm our own Jewish identities, whatever that looks like to us. I can confirm that I've studied approaches to Judaism and can call myself Jewish with my own.
Sure call.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarah.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Amen. Zachor et Yom HaShabbat likodsho sheshet yamim tavod v'asita chol melachtecha v'yom hashvi'i Shabbat l'Adonai elecha lo ta'aseh kol melacha ata uvincha uvidcha Avdecha v'amatcha v'chemtecha v'gercha asher b'sharecha ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz et hayam v'et kol asher bam v'yanach b'yom hashvi'i al ken be'rach Adonai et yom hashabbat v'yikadshehu kabed et avicha v'et imecha Lema'an yarichun yamecha al harama Asher Adonai Elecha noten lach.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tohenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Eitz chaim hilam hachadikim bavetom hecha. Meushar eitz chaim hilam hachadikim bavetom hecha. Meushar. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom.
I'm also speaking about the Ten Commandments today, just like Theo, but I decided to take a different approach. I wanted to tell the story of how my dad converted to Judaism and how it's relevant to the Ten Commandments. My dad grew up as an Irish Catholic, and in that faith, there's not a ton of room for questioning. He wasn't able to question what many of the priests had to say, and he found it hard. When he met my mom, he started to learn about Judaism and its teachings, and he found value. He also had to convert, or else he wouldn't have been out married, but that's a different story. I find the same value in terms of questioning. I too question, and when I was reading the Ten Commandments, I followed along with a lot of the things, but what I didn't quite understand was the fourth commandment. Remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. I understood that part, but there are a lot of rules that come with Sabbath. I didn't find these rules to have value. I believe that in my own way, I do remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. In my family, we eat my mom's challah. We light the candles, and we have a weekly Shabbat dinner. This brings me value, and in my own way, I do remember the Sabbath and keep it holy, but I do it in my own way. In my confirmand, in my confirmation, I've found that questioning is one of the most important things to finding the truth about Judaism and Jewish teachings. When we fail to question, we fail to learn. Questioning is a sign of active engagement on a topic and real interest. I will continue to question Jewish law and faith, and I'll continue to learn, as this confirmation isn't not the final destination in my Jewish life. Thank you.
Amen. We now want to take this opportunity to invite our confirmands before our ark, and we want to offer them a blessing. We invite all of you to rise in body or in spirit. Stand. Friends, on this night that we celebrate receiving Torah, we also have the blessing of celebrating the four of you. Abraham Joshua Heschel teaches that in addition to the books of our tradition, we have something called a text person, someone who lives the values of Judaism and uniquely shares their take because of who they are individually. Each of you is a text person. You taught us tonight by sharing your own Torah, and you have taught the four of us for the past year, if not much longer. We look forward to continuing to learn from you as you make your mark in the world. The beauty of how each of you engage with Judaism is that you do it from a place of deep Talmudic wisdom without even knowing it. We learn in Pirkei Avot the sayings of our ancestors that just as iron sharpens iron, so too does a person sharpen the countenance of a friend. Our ancient rabbis teach that not only do we help strengthen one another's judgments by pushing hard, we actually are able to make better laws and create better community through our disagreements. The four of you have wrestled with Torah, Talmud, and much of Jewish tradition over the past year. You have pushed each other to think more critically and better understand what Jews believe about various ideas. We have spent the year sharpening and challenging and learning. We are so proud of the way you struggle with and push back on the traditional interpretations of Judaism, and instead create your own understanding of what Jewish tradition can mean to you. Each of you picked a gift that was fitting for who you are. Aiden, you picked a gift of a ring that says Tikkun Olam on it, because repairing the world is something that is so vital to who you are and who you will be as you make your way into this world. Theo, you didn't let us know what your gift was, which is indicative of who you are and what your relationship with Judaism will be. You're always going to keep us on our toes, and you're always going to keep questioning and challenging, and then you'll come in and tell us eventually what you actually believe and want. Johnny, you asked for Tanakh because you have so much Judaism in your life, and you wanted to take that next step of creating a Jewish library so that wherever your life takes you, you have the foundational text to lead you on that journey. And Matt, you chose a simple, very simple Jewish star necklace because you didn't want to show the whole world and be ostentatious about your Judaism. You wanted to keep it close to you and know it's something that you're proud of, but you don't need to push it on anyone else. And each of you picked a gift that's so perfect for who you are. And our blessing for you today is very similar to that idea. May you continue to spark your love for Jewish learning in your own unique way. May you always be willing to kindly challenge each other, Jewish ideas, and even your clergy. May you always ask questions to better determine what you yourselves believe. And may you always remember that you have a home here at Temple Israel, wherever your Jewish journey takes you. It's now our honor to offer you the oldest blessing in Judaism from the book of Numbers.
May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. Ken yehi ratzon.
May God's light shine upon you every single day. May God show you compassion and favor.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Ken yehi ratzon.
May you have all of life's blessings, those of challenging, of learning, of connection, of commitment, but most of all, that of shalom, of peace.
Yasem lecha shalom. Yehi ratzon. Yasem lecha shalom. Ken yehi ratzon.
We're fortunate in our secular calendar to be now entering Memorial Day weekend, a weekend of memory. Of course, in Jewish life, memory is never far away. And it's not any special time, but for us, it is all the time. No gathering is complete without remembering those who have come before us, those who perhaps once stood on this bima, those who once celebrated similar joyous occasions, joyous life cycle moments with us, but who are no longer. And yet we keep them alive with the flame of memory deep in our hearts. And so if you are observing Shiva or Shloshim, the first 7 or 30 days following the loss of a loved one, and you'd like to share the name of your loved one aloud, we invite you to do so at this time. As a Temple Israel community, we're observing Shiva the first 7 days and Shloshim the first 30 days following the passing of Gary Spencer, husband of Barbara, father of David and Stephen and Dana, and Abby and Scott, and Elizabeth and Mark, grandfather of Julia, Parker, Reese, Alexandra, Darren, Naomi, Connor, Jonah, and Joshua. Of Daniel Mark Ballin, son of Anne Lois Ballin, and Rabbi Jeffrey Ballin of blessed memory, and brother of Sarah Ballin. Leo Gold, husband of the late Sandy and father of David and Elizabeth, Susan, John and Lisa, and grandfather of Daniel, Michael, Sam, and Alex. Audrey Megida, wife of the late Nat, mother of Dan and Nancy, Meg, Matthew and Patricia, grandmother of 5 and great-grandmother of 2. And Simone Goldfarb, mother of Adam and Melissa, grandmother of Sabrina and Zach. If you're observing Yartzeit, the anniversary of a loss, on this Shabbat evening, and you'd like to share a name aloud, we invite you to do so at this time. We're also observing the Yartzeit, the anniversary of the following members of our TI family: Eleanor Blatt, Helen Cohen Eisner, Samuel Flock, Yetta Friedman, Bonnie Garber, Fran Gare, Isaac Gottfried, Sheldon Heller, Andre Joseph, Murray Kalmans, Sidel Kaplan, Gloria Lobel, Ruth Rofe, Miriam Rosenblum, Philip Rosenzweig, Joseph Rubenstein, Norman David Schack, Jean Steele, Selma Sternheim, Mildred Venner, Seymour Wasserberger, Edith Andy Weinstein, and Lydia Blatt Zimmern. If you're joining us via the live stream and you have a name to share, we invite you to do so either in the chat or by saying your loved one's name aloud wherever you might be. And we invite those in the period of Shiva or Shloshim to stand. And we invite those in the period of Yartzeit, observing a Yartzeit, to stand. And now we all rise in sympathy, fellowship, and memory as we turn to page 598 for these treasured and hallowed words that we call Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'amei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal shemei dekudisha b'richu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shalom rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the Holy One of Blessing, who creates harmony in the heavens above, bring peace and comfort to all of us, to the entire people of Israel, and to all humanity. And we say together, Amen.
Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
We turn to Kiddush, to sanctification of Shabbat on page 123.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikrahei kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta ve'otanu kidasha mikol amim. V'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat lechaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon.
While you guys get ready to have some challah, we're going to invite everyone to share in the joy of confirmation by having a little oneg outside, just outside the sanctuary. I think there's a little dinner for the confirmands and their family members, which is just next door, correct, Stephanie? Yes, just next door. And I just want to say at the conclusion of this service that for all of those of us, and I count myself proudly among those who are proud Reformed Jews, of all of the wonderful innovations to the ancient nature of Jewish tradition that Reformed Judaism has brought, including praying in the vernacular and sermons and interesting music and the inclusion of all people of various backgrounds in Jewish life and the equal inclusion of women in Jewish life. One of the innovations that we should be most proud of is the creation of confirmation. It's a uniquely Reformed Jewish tradition, the addition of another life cycle event along the path of life, post-bar or bat mitzvah. And all of you guys already have your names on the wall because you became, this is our bar mitzvah wall downstairs. Some of you know about this. You all have your names on the wall once for your bar mitzvah. Now you have your names on the wall twice. That's very special. Thank you for blessing us with your presence this evening, and thank you for continuing this wonderful Reformed Jewish tradition of confirmation. We invite everybody back for Shabbat under the stars next Friday. I checked the weather. It's even better than it is today. The weather for next Friday is just a bit warmer, and we're going to conclude with a little prayer, of course, of peace. Oseh Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.